Good evening. So, I've had many odd jobs, and a lot of those odd jobs, kind of the history began like in college. I had to avoid going home after my freshman year in school. I was just so desperate that I ended up at an overnight Jewish community center camp in Maine.
Yeah.
And so there I was just obviously restricted as a counselor. I was told what to eat, which is I had to keep kosher. I was told where to live, which is in a bunk with 13-year-old girls. And I was restricted as to where I could go, i.e. I had no car in Maine. So after that summer, I just decided, you know what, I need determination. I just have to have a better summer after sophomore year. I just had to. So I started planning ahead. I linked together with my favorite partner in crime at camp, Jane, who was from England. And so she sought out getting a student visa to work in the States. And I started doing research so that we could live in Boston for the summer. And it was a big thing because I'm originally from the suburbs in New England. I'd never been in a big city before. And so I arranged everything for us. I got us a sweet apartment in downtown Boston on Boylston Street, right around the corner from Newbury. I was just turned 21, which meant that I could take part in the bar scene in Boston because they do check ID. If you've ever been to Boston, they absolutely check. And I think and we were living in this great apartment with a guy who was just this dreamboat from Tennessee of Mexican descent named Tony. So obviously, Antonio, obviously we had to nickname him Hot Tony. So we got to live in this sweet apartment in Boston with Hot Tony. The only key component missing, we didn't have jobs. We didn't have anything to do work-wise. So for about a week, we were canvassing for the environment. And that lasted for about as long as I could handle after being called a communist by a homeless person. And spit on, just to put that cherry on top. We ended up selling tickets for a trolley company in Boston. And for me, this was the sweetest job. I don't know why I thought I was just so, amazing for having this job, because basically we sold trolley tickets, but I was the key to the city. If you were visiting from out of town and you wanted to know how to get around Boston, I was the girl you'd go to. If you wanted to understand the complex street map that used to be Cow Paths of Boston, I was your girl. And I was just so thrilled to have this job. I was so proud. And I just felt like I'm boss. I'm a boss bitch, basically, for having this job. And we made good money. We got commission on every ticket we sold plus hourly wage. We had this amazing, crew of Bostonians named Sully and Patty that were by my side and be like, "What don't you know? I'll tell you. I got it. So, and Neil almost made me feel like I was a Bostonian. So if you needed me to fake a Boston accent, no problem. I fucking got it. I'll park your car and have it. Yeah, no problem. I'm from Connecticut. It just didn't make sense, right? So this was a really amazing time that I was having. And I mentioned that Hot Tony lived in the apartment. Hot Tony had two cool things about him besides the fact that he was freaking hot. He had a chinchilla and a motorcycle. I had never seen a chinchilla before. And I damn straight had never been on a motorcycle. So you can see the real mass appeal, right? So here's basically what happens. Sometimes you reach a high point in your life when you feel like a boss bitch, that you're going to come down from that high point. And that coming down was kind of a harsh reality at 21, Thank you. I was going out every night, I was partying, I was enjoying life. But what I didn't realize, I was definitely in a city. And in a city, things can happen. So when I got robbed the first time on the job, I had my money bag stolen when I just turned around. When 100 bystanders were nearby. Second time I got robbed, it was like a bait and switch thing where something was stolen off of my trolley station. It was just really sad. It was a walkie-talkie. It was super expensive. And every time I called my boss, I was crying because I'm this 21-year-old who knows nothing about life, But here I am. They're entrusting me with all this money and this tourist power. I don't really get it. But, that was sort of the downfall. And then one day we came home and Tony's chinchilla, its poor little head was stuck under the wheel in his cage. I know, right? And for the 24 hours, we were under such duress. And when he passed, the softest little creature I'd ever touched, I really understood, like, this was just so much more than I thought it was. The whole apartment mourned until we realized, oh, we had other vermin around. They were called rats and cockroaches, and they were everywhere. So 3 months into my time in Boston, I was so ready to go home. My time was over, and I took the money I made to buy textbooks, and I brought it back to school. And I look back at that time, and I was like, that was great, but now I'm ready to go back into junior year. But hanging out, where I did in the Irish bars with the Irish folk, making out with the Irish boys, led me to study abroad in Ireland. And then I also got to enjoy, living in Boston many years later, and looking back as a working employee who complained about the tea, who complained about the college kids, who were like, Red Sox suck, Red Sox are awesome, Red Sox suck. But every time I saw a trolley go by, I'd be like, that green and orange trolley, I was like, I was a part of that. That was my life at that time. And that high point, I would never give up for the rest of my life. Thank you so much.